Hello, how are you? My name is Mansa McNeil, and I am a student at Los Angeles Film School, located in Los Angeles, California. I am currently working on my bachelor's degree in film with hopes on becoming a successful independent filmmaker. In this week's assignment, I was instructed to seek out connections with industry professionals and interview them. So, in this video, I will be doing just that. I have the pleasure of interviewing you.
Hey Mansa, how are you? This is Dane Reid, the voiceover guy, and that's Dane, Danereid. First of all, I want to thank you for inviting me to do this. Anytime I have an opportunity to help out students, especially, I take the opportunity to do so because at one time I personally was a student, and it was difficult getting people who knew the business who were willing to help. So I'm definitely willing to help you and to answer your questions, and I definitely appreciate you inviting me to do so.
Without further ado, let's get started.
All right, let's do it.
What was your major in college?
So my major in college actually was radio, TV, and film. I had a concentration of radio, and I worked at a radio station here in Atlanta as an intern for one semester of my final semester in college.
How does it feel to have years in the game and be featured on hundreds of radio commercials?
As in terms of having years in the game, um, it's satisfying, but it's something that I also know that I can never stop working. I can never rest on my laurels thinking that, hey, I've had years in the game, so I don't have to do anything else. People just know me or whatever, whatever. I constantly have to work for it. In terms of being featured on hundreds of radio commercials, it's flattering when I get a chance to hear myself on the radio, or when people that I know have a chance to hear me on the radio. That's actually very fun and exciting when they call me up. You know, when I'm doing things here in the studio, I don't make such a big deal about it. It's business. But when I hear the final products of things, it's pretty darn exciting.
What do you love most about your job?
What I love most about my job, to be very honest, is when I get the checks. I also, I really do enjoy that. I also very much enjoy when I hear the final product, like I said before.
How did you get started working as a voiceover professional?
All right, so how did I get started working as a voiceover professional? I can sit there and talk about the fine details of this all day, but actually, how I got started doing voiceover was a series of things, and I majored in radio, TV, and film. I did that intern and realized that I didn't want to work in radio. I started working another job, but the feel for, for multimedia was always in me. And I remember when I was in college, my professor, the late Bill Clark, actually told me that I should do voiceover. And so some years later, while I was working another job, I started thinking about voiceover, and a friend called me while I was thinking about it, and I took that as a sign, and that propelled me forward into exploring a career with voiceover.
You have a lot of experience as a voiceover professional. Can you recall ever having any issues on set with production? And if so, how did you handle it?
So, I actually don't work on set, but I do have occasion to go into big studios and work on things. It's interesting working in a studio with engineers and stuff and taking their directions. And they say do it like this and do it like this and do it like this, and you do it like that, but then they say, oh no, and then they're writing new lines for you and eliminating lines and stuff like that as you go along, and that's kind of interesting. But like real problems, No, not really. Nothing that, makes me want to pull my hair out.
Why do you want a career as a voiceover artist?
So I wanted a career in multimedia, and like I said, I was inspired to do voiceover in particular at the encouragement of my professor when I was in college. And when I was working a professional job after college, I knew that the work that I was doing was for somebody else, and I also knew that what I really wanted to do was work for myself. And so voiceover just seemed natural for me.
Is there an age limit to voiceover?
There is absolutely no age limit. I would assume babies can't do it because they have to know how to speak. But really, in voiceover, they're looking for any and everybody who has a voice, and it almost doesn't matter what kind of voice that you have.
What is the biggest obstacle of marketing yourself?
Oh, marketing is a whole different video. And to tell you the truth, most of my job is marketing. Not most of my job is not voiceover, it's actually marketing. And marketing, the biggest obstacle is being a talent who has studied voiceover but having to market.
As a person just getting started in the voiceover industry, where should they go to look for work?
The first thing that you should do actually is look for training before you look for work. Um, then once you get training, you need to get a demo done by a professional demo producer. And that demo producer should, and the people who trained you should help direct your path in terms of voiceover. But what I would do if I was just getting started in voiceover is I would find voiceover talent that are not African American males, and I would follow them and see what they do and market to companies that they market to. Because if I market to a company that has Caucasian males or females, they may need a black male voice, for instance, on their roster. And so I'm going to market to production companies that, I know are hiring already.
And last but not least, are there any new projects in the works for you?
So in terms of new projects in the works for me, my job is a daily job. It's not like, I'm sitting around trying to get a project kind of job. I do voiceover every single day, even during the coronavirus thing. If I wake up every morning, I have things for radio stations because I'm contracted by radio stations to do work, and I wake up in the morning and I do those. Generally, that work comes in the mornings. I audition for new jobs from agents that send me auditions to some of the websites that have voiceover auditions. I do that every day. So in terms of one big project, yes, sure, there are voiceover talent who have those huge big projects, but my work is it comes in. It's a steady stream of work. And like I said, I never really brag particularly about anything that I do. I do it, I send it in, and I go to another project. So yeah, no, thank you again for interviewing me. I really appreciate it. I wish you all the luck in the world. I'm Dane Reid, the voiceover guy. You want to find out more about me, visit my website at DaneReidMedia.com, and also subscribe to my YouTube at youtube.com/DaneReidMedia. I'm Dane Reid, the voiceover guy, and I'm gone. Peace.